The battle over Porto Primavera began when construction started in 1980. Back then, Brazil was still a dictatorship. Opposition to the dam was ignored. After democracy was restored, environmental protests helped to hold the project in check for years, amid claims it would destroy 900 square miles of wetlands in exchange for relatively little electricity. But after 20 years, with costs soaring to over $9 billion, this juggernaut couldn't be stopped. The dam's builder is known as CESP. It supplies virtually all of the electricity consumed by Sao Paulo, Brazil's most populous state. Although the dam is controversial, CESP is recognized as an industry leader in addressing environmental concerns. Its director of environment is Daniel Salacci.
Obviously, it's impossible to say there's no negative effect on the environment. There's always going to be a negative impact with this kind of operation. Therefore, it's CESP's job to try to minimize this impact. In terms of the environment, we've already spent around $250 million here. I'd say that's a reasonable amount.
As the water inches upward, Mauricio Barbanci is studying the impact of the flooding on the Cervo.
Brazil depends on hydroelectric plants for its energy, and the Cervo inhabit exactly the spot where these plants are built. Every year, with every new plant, we lose more Cervos.
In anticipation of the flooding, Mauricio and his team are in a race against time to capture every Cervo they can. Mauricio gets ready for a risky maneuver. He'll only get one chance at this one. Mauricio holds the animal down until his assistants can join him. It's a doe. She's blindfolded to lessen the panic. Cervos are notoriously nervous animals. The trauma of this moment could lead to a heart attack. A member of the team administers a sedative. It will put her to sleep for the journey to come. A truckload of animals arrives at the remote farm where Paulo has set up operations. He has been working on their relocation for hours, and there's no end to the cages as more trucks arrive throughout the night. Veterinarian Kelly Bonash is a volunteer working alongside Paulo.
The work we do is difficult. It's not easy being stuck out here, but you have to have the courage to do something. You won't be able to save 100% of the animals, but even if we save 5%, you're doing your part. You're helping.
They'll keep on sorting out the animals all night. No one knows how many they'll have to handle. The only thing certain is that the water continues to rise. 15 days into the rescue operation, the reservoir is more than half full. Half-drowned trees are slowly strangled by the growing river. The confused animals are in a state of panic. Exhausted rescue teams work 10-hour days in 15-day shifts. It's hard, demanding work with no end in sight. Surrounded with no place to run, the monkeys are frightened and bewildered. But if they're not caught, the alternative is certain death. The stress is tremendous, both on the rescuers and the rescued. Sometimes it's difficult to remember you're here to help. For these frenzied monkeys, the experience is nothing short of terrifying. For all these animals, survival depends in part on how they're treated while in the hands of their benefactors. The flood is changing this region's whole way of life. It's the eternal dilemma of development. What's to be gained versus what must be lost. Two local fishermen have pictured the twilight of an era in the words of a song.
We all need electricity. People can't get along without electricity, so we have to have the hydroelectric plant. Besides, nature will replenish itself.
This is a catastrophe. Look at these animals. It's hard for anyone who loves nature to see these creatures lose their habitat.
The rescue team dealing with the servos faces perhaps an even more cruel dilemma. For Mauricio, there's a growing sense of futility.
These rescue operations are nothing more than shows for the public. Most likely, all of these animals will be lost.
The servos cannot be relocated. Returned to nature, they would only compete for increasingly scarce food and space. Those that survive the capture will live out their lives in captivity.
The public has to realize that these animals are dying. They won't all be saved. People have to decide, which do they prefer? Do they want the air conditioner running all day long? Or do they want the servos in the wetlands of Brazil?